My homies, I'm back. I I know, I know. Trust me, it has been a wild couple of past months. There's probably I can't even count how many times I've said didn't mean to disappear, but stuff happens, And I don't even have a way to start it. It's just there are going to be times where you got to tell yourself, like I told myself this past week, that life has got to go on pause, and it's never going to be exactly how you want it to be, especially when it's in the moment. It's always just that, like, what is happening kind of feeling, why is this happening? Like, where are we going? But one way or another, I know I'll make it, so it's more so just about continuously trying, like today, for example, was one of my first steps getting back into it, because it's been like 9-10 days since I've been in the gym with everything going on. And now it did not go great. It was not the first step that I exactly imagined for myself, but a first step is meant to be full of mistakes, because every mistake is simply just a way for you to get better. It's a thing that you can progress through, make progress on. It's not so much about how much you lift. And, I'm not going to lie to you. I got a little egotistical getting in. I felt pretty good. And I had the idea of, like, maybe I can get back on the progressive overload program, take the pounds down, 10 pounds, see what happens. Didn't go. Did not go whatsoever. I was going to attempt 235 for 3, but it wasn't what it was not there. Let me tell you, the quads were dead. I got 1 out of the 5 attempts, but again, either way, the maximum effort was put in. There's no regrets when you're just simply doing what you want, especially in those moments that you're the most unclear. I thought I was going to be on the normal progressive overload program when I got in. I was doing a little bit more volume than I'm used to on the warm-ups to just test it out. And it all came back full circle. Let's just recreate the week that I left off on. Doesn't matter what weights I hit. Let's just do hard technique, get there at the end of it. I got to recondition my body this week so that I can get back on the normal stuff next week. After the snatches, I definitely took it down a bit for overhead squat and snatch pull. I did my hard technique accessory movements to really get the conditioning in, which I'm very happy for, and I took the weight down a little bit from the last time I did it, but it'll come back quick. It's never so much that you're weaker, it's just you haven't put in the time to earn the weights that you once had, and you can say that about anything you do in life. It's always going to be more than you expect. You're never going to be able to feel as good as you want to. I say this all the time, and I truly believe this, that the right and wrong is not what matters, man. Admitting fault and apologizing is good to an extent. It's what makes people feel better about what they were originally insecure about in untold situations that come out of nowhere. But I'm always thinking about what to do to move forward. And, sometimes the best thing you can do is just move on, And I don't mean that in a general way. I know that's vague. It's more so just when you feel like you've put in the utmost effort, tried everything, done what you can to at least your own abilities. I know I'm limited, and I know I'm not perfect. I know there are things I haven't learned yet. There's things that I'm going to have to go through at some point that will make it more clear. And whether this past week was one of them, I won't really know until something like this maybe happens again, and then I have a better head on about it. It's the same thing with today. It's just it's about going in, putting in that maximum effort, and then if you fail, who cares? Because you have the chance to make up for it. You have the chance to live longer, and that's what allows you to live without regret. And I'm always going to say that there are things that I can see myself doing differently in the future, but you have to remind yourself that there's never really anything different you could have done in that moment, because even if you tell yourself that you wish you had done something differently, or that it had gone another way, or what could you have done to have made it different, the truth always is in that moment you have an idea, you have a goal, a desire to work toward, and it's never always going to go to the highest extent that you imagine. And sometimes you're even going to go way below what you imagine yourself doing in the first place. And moving on in your own direction, regardless of what you're doing, who's with you, what you're moving toward after the fact, the way that your goals and ideas change. It's about whether or not you did them the way that you wanted to, the way that, again, you have to be selfish in this life to an extent, and if you feel like you're doing the best that you can to be the best version of yourself that you can be, there's nothing to regret, you say, hey, there's some important shit going on, let's put it on hold for a minute, see what we can do, and I keep saying that I'm waiting to return to normalcy, but everyone knows you are never going to be at a quote-unquote normal, you're just at that next step, and every step can be a positive one. That's why we do these videos, You bring it back, you put yourself in a positive headspace, you reflect, and you move on from the things that you have experienced, the things that really took you down, but no matter what, we keep breathing, we keep moving, we keep trying. And, I know I don't have any regrets. I know that I moved on the way I wanted to, but that doesn't mean these first steps don't hit just as hard. In fact, sometimes they're going to hit harder, because you never know when you're going to undergo something that completely turns your schedule upside down. I say it all the time. There is no perfect program. There's no set schedule. It's simply work towards something you truly care about. And if you make it, great. If you don't, you got the wrong mindset about it. Because as long as you accept your progression, your positivity in life, the connections you make along the way, what makes you have purpose, as long as you adhere that to just yourself and not the material aspect of life, at least not predominantly. I'm still going to gain strength and live life to aim for a higher number, but that's never the actual goal. Just like the rights and wrongs, it's never my priority to find out who is more in the wrong or what could have been done to be more right. It's simply, did I try my best? Did I try to the extent that I can move on through? And even if I didn't, what am I going to do to change that? What am I going to do to make myself that different person that I want to become, and be able to look at in however many years and say, damn, I didn't know how good I had it. Let me tell you, on top of having some pretty awful sniffles that is making my head want to implode, I ended up moving this week, and it's just, moving in one day is not fun. Let me tell you, it's a bitch to move one way or another, but especially when it's a rushed scenario, it's a shit show. But I can't express how proud I am that it's something I got through. It's something that I managed to find a way out through. It's not so much as like, I know I'm rambling a lot, but I'm just getting it out. I never want to sit there and think, oh, woe is me. The world's after me. Everybody's trying to come get me. It's like, nah, I don't really care. I simply I just want to keep going. I want to keep loving the people I love. And regardless of what people are going to tell me to do about certain situations, or how people react to the way that I choose to move throughout my life, a positive perspective is great, but beyond all things, I will never hate anything. I truly believe that. And I know that that's more of a mindset that I convinced myself of, but that's what everything is. It's just blind faith that you'll be able to move through your shit in the future. It's a waste of mental space and emotions to hold grudges, have animosity toward certain things in life. It's not so much that you need to dislike something to such a degree to move on. It's a matter of accepting that your life just doesn't correlate with those things that you didn't like in the first place, that you didn't, or maybe you didn't realize you didn't like until something happened that made you realize that you're at a new spot in life where everything's different, Everybody's going to always continuously change. The world's going to continuously change. Nothing's going to stop. It's always going to be a matter of when will you accept that your efforts are enough, that what you're doing doesn't need to be validated. It doesn't have to be the heaviest weight that you've lifted in the past couple months. Let me tell you, coming in today and failing 235 as many times as I failed 255 just 10 days ago, it is insane to me how quickly your strength diminishes. And yeah, no, I did not go hard on overhead squats or snatch pulls at all because I went too hard on snatches. And it's not worth going heavy this week. This is a get back to it, condition everything. And again, not return to normalcy, but create a new normal for you to work toward in your desired future, Just like with everything I've gone through in the past week, it's simply a matter of what new life can I see myself getting into right now? Because I think too many people, when they're trying to start a quote-unquote new life or a new way of living or whatever that next new first step is, they're always like, oh, I got to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And it doesn't need to be a big bucket list or a priority system of certain things that you are required to hit along the way. It's simply just go try something. Do what you believe you want to do today. And if you gave it that best shot and you moved through it the way that you wanted to, there's no point in regretting or having those negative emotions hold on to you. Because let me tell you, as much as I'm going to tell you that I don't feel those ways, they're still there. And it's okay for those feelings to stay with you for a certain period of time, if even forever. But it's the way that you accept them that changes the game. It's allowing them to be a part of yourself, a part of especially the new you that you're trying to become in this moment. Sometimes you need to be able to accept every negative thing that you have ever gone through. Just sit back and realize, man, we're going somewhere. I don't care where it ends up. It doesn't matter to the extent that people want it to matter. It's simply just is what I'm doing, what I'm passionate about? Are the people that I'm around the ones that I want to stay around forever? And no matter how much your mind is going to try to make you remember the past and think on what you've done for so long, doesn't mean it's the current right call. Your old self, your past iterations of what you see yourself as and what you've gone through do not adhere to today. They add that perspective, they add the experience, the wealth of knowledge, whatever you want to call it. But realistically, you are who you are right now. And if in this moment, you know that there's a certain path that you want to put yourself on, jump on it as fast as you can, man. Because there is not enough time to sit around and deal with the negatives that aren't budging, I may not have moved the way that I wanted to move today, but that doesn't mean shit when it comes to what I want to work toward in the next week, the next month, the next year, the next decade, Doesn't matter how much weight I'm putting up. At some point, I'll be 80 years old throwing a stick, because that's all my body's going to be capable of. But damn it, if the technique and the effort and the passion is there, that's what I care about. Anyway, I know it's been way more philosophical lately, but I'm getting better, I'm doing what I got to do to enjoy the daily life the way I want to. So, not that I'm trying to be normal, but life is now unpaused. We're getting back to what I want to do every day rather than what I feel like I have to do. And rather than stressing about what weights or what things I need to do throughout the day, I'm just going to try to love every second of what I have the chance to attempt, See what I can get done. See what things I can put more efforts into in the long run. But one way or another, I'm going to keep doing it. Doesn't matter what happens, I will always come back. Always, always, always. So physically, I didn't talk about the weights much today, but I kind of threw myself under the bus. I kind of wrecked my body a bit. So physically, I'm going to give it like a solid 7.45. It wasn't awful. It was honestly pretty decent. 225 moved crazy good, especially for my first day back in over a week with doing nothing. 235 still went good for the one that I hit, even though it didn't hit for most of them. And the technique on everything else was really, really good, and the conditioning is coming back. I got to hit a couple squat days, a couple bench days, some lighter days. We're going to get back to it. It doesn't matter. I will get back to what I aspire to be, And all I aspire to be right now is what can I do in this moment to where I can say, damn, we're going to be okay. Either way, mentally, man, I'll give it a 7.3. I know it's pretty rare that it's a little bit lower than physical, but I just want to be real about it. I'm like I said, I want to accept the not so great feelings that have been happening recently, but it doesn't mean I'm not just as capable of moving on. It's just, how can I embrace it in a way that I haven't thought of yet that'll make it to where I can properly move past it, Unpause life in all aspects, not just directly in my physical life with the things that I'm doing every day, but in my mental life, the way that I want to feel about the things that I've gone through in the coming days that I have no idea where they're going to happen, So one way or another, we're making progress. I'm more excited to get back into it tomorrow because I committed today. That's what matters. I put in the effort that I wanted to today. I will get better. It will get better as long as I keep pushing as hard as I can. And it'll be, it's always so much less time than And shit, I didn't even mention my shoulder's not even hurting anymore. I couldn't be happier about that. So we'll take our time. We'll get there at our own rate. Doesn't matter what people want to tell you to do. It's just keep doing it, Keep moving. Okay, that's enough rambling. I got nothing else to spew out. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Just let me know how the lives and lifting have been going. Love hearing about it. I am hopefully back for good for a long while without needing any more breaks, and we'll see what happens. Get back to a new peak. Get excited. But I'll be back tomorrow for clean and jerk and back squats. It's going to be one step at a time. I love you guys. See you later. Bye.